Okay, so welcome for this Four Pees Café, Enfocus Full Edition. So today we are going to demonstrate some of the apps that we developed lately. And actually, so also you're gonna have a sneak peek on one that is not available on the Enfocus App Store at this time. So the idea is to show you some serious app and how to use it and what you can do, but also do that in a funny way. And we specifically developed a fun app as well. We'll see how it goes. So basically, today we're going to show you actually three apps that we developed. So the first one, which is called Stalk, and that has been published 10 days ago. This is an app that is actually giving speaking capabilities to Switch. And then we are going to use create file from template, which is an app that has been published, I think, a month ago, David?
Yeah, something like that.
That we are going to use to do some stuff with it. And there is one that is coming, that is the extract JSON from metadata. That we will use and replace create file from template on what we are going to do here. So you can see another way of doing some things. And this is a brand new app that is not live yet, but you'll see how easy it is to use. So the idea here today is to show you how you can have a Switch interacting with you. Obviously, today we're going to do some things that are really fun, but we also found out that there are some use cases where you can do something that might be of a business interest, strangely enough. So here, the first thing I'm going to show you is how we can use that app Stalk to ask a Switch to tell you the results of a pre-flight. Once you throw some files into your workflow. And then here we're going to use Kala's PDF toolbox to pre-flight the file, and then Switch is going to give you the result of the pre-flight. So let's start with just, using one Kalas. So I'm going to really build the flow here with you. So I'm going to use one of my favorite profiles. It's the GAN workgroup, obviously. So let's use that one. And then we're just going to pass this to that app Stalk, which is the one that we developed for this. So, okay. So here, what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to embed the Gantt workgroup proof of pre-flight, which is the universal thing that is on all the apps that are compliant to the Gantt workgroup. They can generate a specific certificate, and we're going to use that here in Stalk. How does Stalk work? It's pretty easy. You have to pick a voice. So here, when you click on the library, you get the list of all the voices that you have on your system. Here it's on a Mac. It works also on Windows, but obviously you have a different list. So let's pick here Samantha, which is a US voice. Just as a remark, you really have to pick a voice that is working with your language, because obviously if you pick an American voice and you want to speak something in French, this is going to sound funny. The other way around as well. So like here, I'm going to do that in English. So I picked an English voice. And here I'm going to tell what I want Stalk to tell you. So it can be just the text that you type here, but you can also use variables or scripting here. So if I just use that here, I will actually copy paste, because that saves me some time. come on, it's here. So what I'm going to do here is actually asking Switch to say the pre-flight status of the file, naming the file is, and then you get the result, which is success or warning or errors. And then it's going to tell me what are the number of errors, warning, etc. That have been detected. So let's start this. And yes, I don't have the files here anymore because I changed something. Obviously, no, it's okay. So if I use one of these files, so let's start with the not OK file.
The pre-flight status of the file test.ok.pdf is errors. It contains 5 errors, 68 warnings, 0 infos.
Okay, so if you heard what the computer was saying, normally you have the result of the pre-flight. I could have used like a OK file.
The pre-flight status of the file test.ok.pdf is success. It contains 0 errors, 0 warnings, 0 infos.
So this is how simply it works, basically. So just, getting some text, passing as a variable, and then, Switch can tell you that. When your file is successful, it's probably, it's not interesting to get the info that it's successful and this way. So we want it to be positive today. So actually, something that has been used already by David in the previous Four Pees Café, we actually used the affirmation.dev website. And this is a website where every time that you run it, you get an affirmation, which is kind of a positive message. So what we are going to do here is like when the file is okay, we are going to actually make an HTTP call to that website, get that sentence and send that to Stoke, and Stoke is going to give you some nice things. So the idea here is just like I'm going to add that HTTP request. So let's say this is wrong file, and here I have a file. So let's say that here I'm going to use this if it's okay. And here I don't want to use that if it's okay. Then here I'm going to call that that website. So https information.dev, and I'm going to let the rest exactly as the default, and we're going to inject the results as a new job. And then afterwards, what we are going to get actually, and I can show you that here. Let's start like that. So it's not going to speak now. I have to pick the OK file, obviously. If I don't, it's not going to work. But then here, I'm going to get an affirmation that comes from that website. Okay, and if I open that, see, I get a JSON. I get the JSON with a key affirmation, and then I get the message. So I need now to pass that to Switch. And for that, I'm using, oh, that's interesting. When I touch that window, it stops sharing. Okay. So this is the create file from template, which is an app that is available on the App Store. This is a free app that we actually did. It's a very powerful app, and I'm going to use it here in a very non-powerful way because you can do much more than this. The idea here is to be able to build any kind of text file. And by text file, we mean any file that is the structure of a text. So it could be obviously a text file, it could be a CSV, XML, a JDF, JSON, you name it. So the idea here is you have a template. So you build the structure of your file, and then you pass to your file the different variables, and the result is going to have that template where all of the variables are inside the template being injected. So here, the thing that I need, and I will show you how it looks, the affirmation, Jason, is actually because Switch is talking XML and not JSON. We have to make the transformation of that JSON to an XML. So here I actually wrote my template, which is the XML file that I'm going to use. And I have a variable here. Oops, this is again, when I touch that thing, is going to change the share. That variable is going to be replaced by what I'm injecting. And then I get an XML with the result of that variable. And that can be used in Switch afterwards. So,
by the way, we know that there is an app on the App Store that converts JSON to XML, but A, that's not funny, and B, I don't know why you would want to do that in most cases. So we've looked for alternatives ways of doing it, and this is number one. I think there is a better way than number one, but that's why that one is called number two, and we'll get to it.
That's a good point. Okay, so.
We're also aware that this create file from template is a bit, it's not difficult. It just has many options, but you have to look at it from a positive side. It means that you can do a lot with it. You just have to configure it correctly.
Yeah, and again, here I'm going to do very simple things, and that's why the new app that we are going to release is going to be a much better way of doing this. But here in the template, and you see that in the documentation, you can have very funky things. You can have like conditions and making some calculation on the variables and a lot of things that you can do within the template. And that is really, really powerful. So here, how I'm going to set that is actually I have to pick the template. And so the template is that.
It is now 16:15.
I'm sorry, that's my speaking clock. This is only to show you that you can also use something else. I have to do a break then. You can also do something else like using an inject job and having things where, you know, inject a job every whatever time you want to. Or it could be that once a day you want Switch to tell you many files you've processed or many, you know, wrong files you had and those kind of things. And just like you can inject that information and make Switch speed that. So let's get back to here. So on my template, I have to pick my template.
To give you an idea, this is the very simple one that Christian showed. I just did a small project for a customer where we had to generate a print talk XML. And that has some repetition in it as well. If there are, if it's something that has a cover, you need to insert multiple items, and that as well, you can quite easily make a template for. All you need to do is give it the correct variables, but you can make something that is as complex as that easily into a template as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So here you have to point the template. You have to say, where are your variables coming from? So here actually it's the incoming job. And then what is the result? And you have many ways of doing this. And here what I want to do is attach as a data set. And I will actually use a key for that data set. So what is going to happen here? I throw a file, it has no errors, so it's going to you know, pull the information from the website, transform that into an XML data set and attach that to the job. And then afterwards, I can use that one you know, to talk with. So let me do this. I will do that this way. So, oops, sorry. Yes, so I can keep the file at the end. Yeah, here's not going to work. Oh, is it? Maybe. Let's see if I.
It should work. It was a JSON file, so.
Yeah. So here, if I go here and I go on the metadata. Oh, I have usually a very big screen, so I have very big windows. No, it didn't work. Because
It's external. You have to set it to external, and it was there, I think.
I cannot select it, actually. I cannot select the external.
You made the data set opaque.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Very good point. I actually did that on purpose to see if someone was following. Thank you, Jan. Yeah, I forgot to actually pick here the correct data set. So.
Are you fooling us, Christian?
Yeah, of course. You want to know if I'm fooling you?
You sneaky one.
In that case, if you see where I am, then you can see the small fish. So I'm fooling you. Okay, so let's do that again. Come on. This is just to show you it's completely live. There's no pre-recorded stuff. It's Aprilful, but nothing's fake here. Everything is real life. Okay, so now I have it. So the text was, I believe in you. And then if I'm inspecting the job now, this time it should work. So metadata texts. Ta-da. And then this is what I got here. So then I can use that, pass that to Stoke, and Stoke can, tell me that.
So once more, there is an app on the App Store that does that, to convert JSON to XML. The difference is that the app on the App Store, which is an Enfocus app, I believe, will always convert the incoming JSON to it's a straight translation to XML, which means you end up with whatever format that conversion gives you. Because you have a template here, you could take in a more complex JSON and already reformat it in the XML file that you want. So it has a little bit more potential than using the basic app.
Okay, and then just adding Stoke at the end of the workflow.
I believe in you.
And there we go.
There you go.
So let's see. Thank you. So let's see when you just, for another one. I mean, the same one.
If everything was easy, you'd be bored.
Yeah, so you can do that every time and you get something else.
So now you can connect it to the clock thing, and every so many minutes, someone will tell you how great you are, which is a
starting as
morale boost.
But you can do it.
Okay, so this is what is there. So that's that's using that create from template, and again, very, very, very basic usage of it. But anyway, and then going to use that new app.
So what is not cool about what we've done now is that you have to create a template and so on. And it converts it into something else because it then works in Switch, and it's in XML and so on. It all feels a little bit roundabout, if you ask me. And because JSON files are becoming more and more prevalent with APIs and so on, we thought of doing something else. So all you want to do is you want to extract part of the JSON. So why not use an app that extracts part of the JSON? I mean, that would be the nice thing to do. And then the next question is, how do you do that? And that is the reason that it's not in Switch in the first place, I think, is because when we when we created Switch 15 years ago, long ago, there wasn't really any standard around JSON, let alone a standard way of getting stuff out of JSON. That's still not the case, but you can find things that go in that direction. There is something called JSON path, which is similar to XPath. And so this new app implements JSON path to allow you to pick up certain parts of that, that JSON file. Yeah? And that means it's not really in such a roundabout way. You just say what information you want from the JSON file, and you can put it into private data, and then you can use it whatever way you want.
This is what I'm going to do actually. So just, using that app, where is the JSON? So in that case, it's the incoming job, but you have other options. And then I'm just going to tell where is the...
Yeah, and what you see in there is examples of, so we're using this key value format. This is, if you want to use our apps, you'd better get used to this because I love them. So I'm going to keep using them. So the idea is that on each line you put a key value pair, and you can add comments to it that are ignored to explain what you're doing and so on. The key value pair in this case, on the left-hand side, you have the name of the private data field where you want to store something in. So that would be, in our case, FP message. And then on the right-hand side, you have the JSON path instruction. And you can look this up online. The documentation will have the link to the exact definition or standard that we're using. But in where an XPath instruction uses backslashes and stuff, the JSON path starts with a $sign to indicate the main object. And then they use a very similar notation to JavaScript or JSON itself, so a dot notation. So basically what you have there is look at the main object, and then take the affirmation property of that object from the JSON and put that in that FP message private data field. This is a very simple form of it. The cool thing is that if you, like what you see on the line above, where I say FP customer name is order customer.name. So there is an order object that has a customer object, and then that has a name property. Yeah. That customer object probably has 10 or 15 different properties in it. Yeah? And it would be really annoying to have to add lines for each of them if you want to get them out of the JSON. So the app even allows you to just say something like a $sign order customer, and it will automatically create 10 or 15 private data fields for you with all the information using some structured way to do it. It works for arrays. It works for arrays that contain objects, that contain arrays, that contain objects. So it can go as complex as you want, or you can just get one piece of information out, which is what we're doing here. So that should work. That's all that is needed, I think.
Yeah, so here it's really easy. It's just like assigning private data to what we had in a JSON. Again, a very simple JSON. And here it's just like, again, picking one of the voices and defining here a variable. And this is going to be easy. It's the private data that is named FP message. And let's try that again.
That should still work.
Yeah, but I did a new branch, so I have to.
Yeah, that should still work.
Yeah. Let's see.
Well, this kind of required that switch.
The past does not equal the future.
The past does not equal the future.
That is correct.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure it's that positive, but it is correct.
Not sure either. You want to hear that again? Let's try the other branch.
The past does not equal the future.
Yeah.
Well, you had two different voices there, I think. So
hopefully. So this is basically, you know, the things that you can do with that app, with those apps, actually, the three that we have here. It's kind of a short cafe today, but something that I'd like to show you. Maybe you're wondering, oh, I got all of these voices, so they are built in. But yeah, I have a French stuff, so it's going to be, but anyway. So this is here where you get all of the voices, where you have some, standard ones, and you can add other ones per, different language. And you just have to add them here, and they're going to be, directly retrieved within Switch here. Maybe that's something I can show you, because now somebody already found the Easter egg. So I don't know, either you want to find where it is, or I can show you, or maybe you can find it. So there is an Easter egg in the Mac version of Stalk. And if you find it, you'll get a special message just for you. So you can try that. I don't know if you guys have your, I don't know, probably not the iPhones, because I know that for the iPhone it's different, but if you have your HomePod next to you or things like that, then, this is where we can try some fun stuff as well. All around the world, hopefully. Let's try that. And let's see if it works.
Hey Siri, play Switch by Will Smith.
Switch, main version by Will Smith, now playing.
Yo, mic check, mic check.
yeah, thanks for that, man.
Yeah, it's also here. So for the one who had their HomePod ready, it's called Switch. I'll stop mine, but I think that yours is working, David.
Yeah, mine was working. I switched it off.
You switched. So yeah, basically it's just, fun here to show that, but that's something
It is
that
now 16:30.
It's 16:30 now. This is something that we found out when we actually did the app, is because, you're giving speaking capabilities to Switch. That means that you can use any, device that you can control by your voice, such as Siri, Alexa, Google, whatever. So if you just start your, like here, you just have to put in front of it, hey Siri, or you just like Alexa, comma, or okay Google, and then what you put afterwards, it's just going to do that. So use that here. Yeah, when I say hey Siri, then it gets crazy. I know, if I say Alexa, that's why I blocked my Alexa. So something that I used, and this is actually the combination of the speaking capabilities and the light, is something that I did 2 years ago as a joke, also with Switch, and now we have the app that can do that. Actually, if you say just like Alexa, turn the signal in red when you get a problem on the file or something like that, and you have like a Philips Hue or another connected lamp, that means that you can have like a small Alexa stuff next to your server, and you can have your lamp in the area where the people are working, and they can get, light information. These are, a lot of things that you can do. You can say, hey Siri, send that person a text message saying that the switch flow is broken or whatever. There are a lot of things that you can do with this. So basically, since you are able to use your voice, you are able to do a lot of things with the voice. Just to, again, give you some teasing, but not saying more, using your voice to do things with Switch is something that, could come one day or another.
If you have two switch servers, they can start bitching at each other.
Yeah, that yeah. Well, this is what we call load balancing, you know. That file is yours. No, I don't want it. Get it. Okay, so that was the Four Pees Café for today. I mean, if you have any questions around those things, not specifically that speaking application, but also on all the others, I think it's the time to shoot, as we only used half an hour this time. So if you have any question, that's the purpose of the Four Pees Café. It's not only listening, it's also speaking.
So there's two things that I will add. The create from template app, if you're using that, we know that there might be a problem if you have an SSL certificate in Switch. It is not related to the app. It is related, unfortunately, I believe, to one of the background network processes that Switch is running when you use the new Node.js based scripting environment. But you might run into something like that. There is a way to fix it in the preferences, but if you get a message like that, it's not because the app is trying to connect to something. It is the fact that it's based on the Node.js scripting environment, apparently. So on your development machines, you're probably not going to have it, because I don't have an SSL certificate for my machine on Switch. But if you install this in a production environment, you might run into that. And then the second thing, this extract metadata from JSON, as was said, this is going to be an app. It is not in the App Store yet. It's not even submitted yet, to be honest, because we actually have something else we wanted to submit first, which is going to be a connection to Monday.com as a service to put stuff on in Monday.com environments. So probably we're going to do that first, and then the extract metadata from JSON app will come a little bit later, but it will come to the App Store.